to do is going to go through some test, some screenshots of what it looks like. It has the ability to save assessments. One of the questions I got early on was, well, why would you want to have multiple assessments? Well, I mean, the simple answer is I could keep it so that you could have just one assessment at a time. Or if you are in the Northeast, for instance, and you have a tendency to go down to Florida for 4 or 5 months out of the year, do you want to have to continuously change your entire assessment, or do you want to have a summer assessment and a winter assessment? So what we did is, thinking ahead and thinking that people may have multiple locations that they live at any certain time, we gave you the ability to save an assessment so that you can go back and change it at your own choosing. So from this page, we're going to go ahead and resume a prior assessment that we started. Scott, if you'll advance. The first thing that you'll see here is a completely redesigned look and feel. The first thing that we did, obviously, was adding the blue screen checks so that you could see. Now, one of the questions I get a lot on the allergies that I need to make sure that everyone understands. They say, well, what about the allergy that I have? Well, the allergies that are listed are the allergies that are known to have some benefit through supplementation. If your allergy isn't there, it's unfortunately not something that supplementation can really help with. Obviously, the peanut allergy is to make sure that we don't have anything in there that has a peanut base. But that's why they are there. You also notice the screen in the upper part of the assessment where it says personal, dietary, lifestyle, physical conditions. The reason why that is there is it's a running progress meter. So as you advance through the assessment, you will see those things turn blue. The other thing that it does is if for any reason you need to go back and change any particular answer in any particular section, you no longer have to back up through all of the assessment to get there. You simply have to hit on the section that you're going to go into, and from there you can jump to the next screen. One of the other things I want to talk about the assessment in general, and we'll go into the next sections. But one of the things I want to talk about in the assessment is, one of the questions I get a lot is, well, is this really just a questionnaire, or leading to nowhere, or is this a true assessment? Well, the reality is this has over 7,000 different medical and scientific studies behind it that are all attached to the recommendations made in the assessment. There's over 1.2 million combinations that are available. I do not have, like some companies, boxes on a shelf that are going to fit you into a category of A, B, C, or D. What I have is your assessment that I'm ready to build as soon as you tell me what it is I need to build. So that if you place an order, I don't get to turn on a shelf and pull it off on a box. What I have to do is run it through the assessment, just like you do, put it into my Coke machine on steroids, and it will basically provide me the supplementation that your individual self need. And that changes as you change. But it'll go through the dietary questions similar to before, and there's going to be some new questions if you guys have seen the prior assessment that you will have never seen before. You'll see we go from dietary over to lifestyle. You also notice the imagery in the background of the questionnaire changes depending on the assessment. I'm very much a visual person, as are most people. I wanted to make sure that the images kind of matched what was going on in the questionnaire. Then you go over to the physical. Then you get into the physical well-being aspects. It's going to ask you many of the same types of questions there on the physical well-being. Then you go over to the conditions. This is where you're going to be asked about your diseases, anything that you're suffering from, things of that nature. And then from there, we're going to go over to the medications. And when we go to the medications, you'll see that it has the add remove buttons. Now, one of the unfortunate things that you don't get to see here that you would if I was on the live assessment is that when you hit add, you will see an image float from the search results over to the actual conditions that is green. And what it does is it floats from one to the other so you can actually see it being added. And then if it was a mistake or you need to remove something, the same green takes it from the right-hand side of the screen back over to the left. Now, the only difference is when you remove something, it automatically goes to the top of the left-hand column. Just in case it was an accidental removal, you don't have to go through the alphabet to try to find it again. It's right there so you can have easy access to it. Now, after you've finished the assessment and gone through your medications, you're going to get your congratulations screen. Yes, there is no such date as December 32nd, 2013. As I said, it's still a test site. But this congratulations screen is going to be very similar to the last one, except for the fact that you see that lower left-hand thing on the screen. It says print assessment. Now, unlike a typical website, when you tried to print, you would have some different margins and things like that. That print assessment is actually going to print it in a black and white format with all of your answers spelled out in a legible document that then you can take with you to the health nutrition store, to your doctor, to your trainer, wherever you want to take it. We wanted to make it simple so that when you wanted to print your assessment, it was available to you and would be in a uniform format. In addition to that, you'll be able to review your custom IDLife report. And what happens is it pops up on this screen. In reviewing your report, what you're going to do is you're going to review the answers that you gave to ensure that all of them are correct. One of the buttons that we're in the process of adding, as you can see, you have to click on the review responses item by item. We're going to have an expand all at the top. That's still something that, believe it or not, you would think that that would be simple, but that's actually one of the more difficult things to put into the programming, but we're working on that as well. But this is where you would review all of your answers. Here's where you get your report. Now, this is the neat part of the assessment, and this is why we call it the IDLife assessment as opposed to the ID Nutrition assessment. The report, in its final format, you see there's a negative and a plus sign. The negative sign is actually going to end up being red, but for purposes of getting it out the door, we had it just as a single color. Again, programming into multiple color formats was somewhat difficult. But what we have here, it's going to go from red to green. And this is the report that tells you what you're doing well and what you're not doing so well. Here you'll see, based upon the answers that you gave, what is going on. This is where you get some information that will provide the ability for you to make some changes in your life so that you can, not only through supplementation, but also through some life changes, improve your own physical health. Again, this is why we don't call it just the ID Nutrition assessment, we call it the IDLife assessment. Now, here's where we get to your recommendations. The recommendation is the recommendation for supplementation that is just for you. Now, everyone's is basically going to be different. That is both a positive and a negative. Positive in the sense that you're going to have supplementation for the first time that is designed specifically for you based upon your answers to the assessment. Negative for me, because I don't have it sitting on a shelf where I can pull it off and send it to you as soon as you do it. I actually need you to complete the assessment. Now, you notice one of the things you're able to do from this screen is you can go over there and click on the supplement. And when you click on the supplement, it tells you everything that you could ever want to know about that particular supplement. So if you're a green personality like me, you can take a look at that, and then you can go deeper if you decide you want to with regard to all the information that's there. The thing that you can do is you can click on the Y button, which is over to the right, which is the really neat part of ID Nutrition and the IDLife assessment. The assessment basically says that we are recommending that you take this supplement in this dosage in this quantity at this time because you gave a particular answer in the assessment, and then it tells you what the answer that you gave. Then it gives you the evidence. The evidence is the scientific medical support for the recommendation that's being made. So you can then go in, you can cut, copy, and paste this evidence into Google, and you yourself can go read the 200 to 250 page scientific study that basically supports the recommendation that we are making. The one thing that you should know is we didn't pay for any of these assessments or any of these studies to be done, the scientific and medical studies to be done. We basically go through and cull through hundreds of thousands of them to find the most relevant scientific data available to make the recommendations that are made in the IDLife assessment. The other thing you should know is that these are constantly being updated with the most recent information to make sure that our assessment is staying current based upon the most up-to-date medical science available. All right, here you'll notice one of the other things. This is in the advanced custom supplements. The screen before was the what I'm going to call the base package. Then you get into the advanced custom, and we're still working on the wording on what we're going to call that, to be honest with you. But what this is if you want to go beyond just the base kit and you want to get the full nutritional supplementation recommended by the assessment, here's where you have a chance to do that. Now, one of the things I want to point out from this screen is you notice how there's a sun and a moon. One of the things we talk about extensively in the business presentation and a lot of the videos is chronobiology, and the story behind how chronobiology came to be into the assessment, how Paul Sullivan, through 17 years of research and development in coming up with the IDLife assessment or the ID nutrition assessment, learned the significance of chronobiology. And as a result, we have all of that built in so that you know when you should take your supplements, either in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening. And your strip packs that you'll get in your ID nutrition box will actually have AM or PM to take the guesswork out of when you should be taking your nutrition. But what we wanted was a visualization so that when you saw your results, you could actually see a sun or a moon. Now, I would say probably hands down, the number one thing in the assessment that I like more than anything else, and I have to give it to my IT team for actually being able to deliver this part of the assessment, is if you see that little green button in the lower right hand corner, when you hit the view supplement facts, you get this. And every single person that orders ID nutrition through IDLife will get this in their box. What this is a complete listing of all of the supplementation that is in your personal ID nutrition. This is the percentage RDA, it's the per serving, and it's a complete list of all of the supplements that are there, so that you can then take that and know exactly what it is you're taking and what quantity and what amount. And every person is different. So one of the things you'll notice on the ID nutrition box when you receive it is it does not have the supplement facts on it, because I can't print them on the box because I don't know what they're going to be until you tell me what your body needs based upon the answers that you give. Now, that's a high-level version of the assessment. This is a culmination of a lot of late hours, a lot of late work from an outstanding IT team that I can't speak enough about. And I really hope that everyone likes the change and the look and the feel and the assessment and is excited as I am to be able to finally order their ID nutrition through the IDLife assessment.